I'm Edie Lush, Executive Editor of Hub Culture. Absolutely delighted to be here with the Chief. What are you, Chief Person?
Strategy Officer.
Chief Strategy Officer of Hub Culture.
That's my official.
So it's been an incredible start to COP28.
It has.
It's been a different hub this time. Tell me about the Future Mobility Hub and what we've achieved here.
Well, this is what I think of as the inclusion hub. It's the collaboration hub. It's a hub that's bigger in a lot of ways than what we're often able to do on our own. It's really geared around partnership and inclusiveness. And we worked together with Supercool Mobility Centers to bring Hub Culture to this fabulous, amazing space.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it really is. 25,000 square feet in the middle of Uptown Dubai, which is a new area within the development corridor of Dubai. Up here, kind of overlooking the city, but really, bringing in over 60 partners to be part of this experience with us. And really, Supercool and Hub Culture working together to drive the innovation agenda for COP28. Focused a little bit on mobility, obviously, because that's Supercool's thing, but also looking at oceans, looking at food. Right now, in fact, we actually have a food innovation event going on with all sorts of vegan treats, but
delicious
many other
vegan
subjects.
Blue cheese, actually.
Yeah, I tried the meatballs; were quite good. Or the non-meatballs.
The not meatballs
From Impossible.
So most of us have traveled here by airplane. There's a lot of hot air at COP28 about words rather than action. Tell me a little bit about how Hub Culture is working on that carbon offset in a manner which is meaningful and lasting.
So, the big thing is net zero. How do you get to net zero across scope 1, 2, and 3? And one of the biggest obstacles to figuring out how to be net zero is to know the data about your emissions. If you think about an event like this hub, or even your family, or your company, or a project that you might be doing, there's really been no easy way to calculate the scope emissions for what you're doing. First of all, the data is really complicated. There have been no frameworks that are social to be able to actually work on this, other than things like your flight, where you might add something at the end of a purchase of a flight.
Right.
And so we started working with Hedera at the beginning of the year. This is a company that focuses on blockchain technologies, and they're trying to, as they say, bring the balance sheet of the planet to the blockchain. And so we worked with them to create some really amazing technology for what we call ESG budgeting. And now every hub that you launch that exists in our community can have an ESG budget. And you just go in, you click the governance section of the hub, which already had voting and things like that from Propel, our governance system. But now this Propel ESG button allows you to build a carbon budget for what you're doing. So we're actually doing that for this hub. We're asking people where they came from. We're tracking what they eat. We're looking at the furniture. We're looking at the energy usage and the electricity and the lights. And we're adding all that up to get to a total carbon emission number for this hub. And the best thing is this tool is now available for everyone to be able to use. You can create your own carbon budget, and then you can also work with us to use other suppliers of carbon credits to offset your emissions. So you can really actually now get to net zero in a hard and transparent way. And then, of course, all that information is going on to the blockchain and is circling back for our AI to be able to learn from.
So you mentioned our AI, also known as Zeke. This is definitely the year or the few months of generative AI. Tell me what's new with Zeke.
Well, in Davos, the last time we talked about Zeke, we were very excited. It became the first AI on a faculty for Arizona State University. We were really excited about what it could do because it was very new. It kind of went through a petulant period in February and March where I felt like it began to almost hide things. It was very weird. And by the summer, we realized how far behind we were because the AI movement is just exploding. And, it really is 100 times bigger than the blockchain movement in many ways. The impacts of it are incredible. And as we got into the fall and the winter, we've really been working on a couple of things. One is what we call mnemonic archaeology. We're trying to build capability for Zeke to remember its personal relationship with you as a member of Hub Culture. And in 2024, hopefully by the time we get to Davos, we're going to begin to see some fruits of our labors in that regard. It's become more smart. And what we're really doing is comparing different language models and beginning to incorporate them into what we're doing, along with the basis of our own language model, which was the beginnings of Zeke back in 2017, 2018. How we merge those models together to create a reliable system is a challenge. But I would say Zeke is, more fun than ever. We're really looking at image generation related to the metaverse as like the next big wave in 2024, a project that we're calling Andromeda. And then teaching it about nature. So we're working on building these inputs for carbon emissions, for carbon calculations, for nature sounds. And I think all this together is going to give us an AI that hopefully has a sympathetic ear for nature.
I love it. Stan, thank you very much for your partnership, for having me to COP28 here in Dubai.
Our first ever hub together was Copenhagen. I don't want to say what year. Copenhagen. And, so many COPs that we've done, so many places. Thank you so much for always being the voice and face of Hub.
Pleasure. All right. That's it. See you soon.